Hi everyone, I'm Joel. This is my first ever presentation, so you have to be really kind to me. Um, the title is World's Most Attractive Workplace. This is not Ludosity. I run a studio called Ludosity. I'm not saying that's us, but I'm going to talk about our goal of being this and also some of the internal processes at Ludosity. So it's been my goal to build up Ludosity to become the very best workplace it could possibly be. We've been known to be quite productive. We have released somewhere between 10 or 50 titles, depending on how you count, at least 10. Fun fact, half of all the games that came out of this science park is from Ludosity. So I'm going to go through how we work so fast, some of the processes that we have adopted and some that we have abandoned. So why? When we started, way back when, I think this was 2008, these guys over here, Pagone, for example, they made us do a business plan, and in this business plan, you state a goal, and or said something like, we're going to be the world leader in whatever our first game was, which was a physics-based puzzle game, so we're going to be the world leader in physics-based puzzle games. And that's complete bullshit. And 2 years later, we reformed the company to an LLC. And by that point, I had a greater understanding of what I want to do, really. And that is to create an environment for us to really have fun. I was asked why. And I think the reason is I've always approached game development more as a craft than as an art form. For us, that's just us. And that means it's more important that we do what we do in the best way possible, as opposed to someone like Kojima, who really, they have one vision and want to say a message, and that's more important than what we do. It's more important that we follow the design than the craft of it, and that's not what we're about with Ludosity. So we have built Ludosity around the idea that we're going to have fun and release a lot of games. So what is fun? It's quite tricky to have fun while you're working. I don't think it's about ping pong tables and ball pits. I think the number one thing is to have agency. Everyone in the team have agency. Also to have responsibility. And it's very important to be able to develop your own skills and to have the time to make mistakes, to learn new stuff. And you have to be allowed to take that time. I'm very proud of all the team members at Ludosity have developed over time. Our musician right now, he was hired as a programmer, and it took maybe a couple of months before he sort of got into it and started showing that he actually made some songs, and we liked him. And the next game we did, we gave him the opportunity to make the soundtrack, and now he's made 3 soundtracks. They're awesome. He's still programming as well. He recently programmed also an NES game that saw retail distribution just recently. That's pretty fun. Our art director came one day. He had been working over the weekend, and he had bought this Android tablet, and he came back and he had a game on it, and we didn't know he actually coded. This was maybe 4 years ago, and he came back and he said, "Yeah, I made this game." So we were blown away. We actually released that game later as well. And he said, "Yeah, I didn't like working with JavaScript, so I programmed my own language." That was pretty fun too. And he also have actual code in one of our game, Card City Nights. Our designer turned out to be our best animator. Another one of our artists is really into B movies, so he makes a lot of our trailers, etc., etc. So the point is, everyone is a multi-talent. I am, you are, everyone is, and it takes a really long time to find that balance and that chemistry within a team. And for me as a leader to sort of build upon that. Yes. I don't like slides. So I'm going to talk about Microsoft actually a little bit. I'm really impressed with really huge companies. So Microsoft is 100,000 employees. So how do you foster creativity? How do you have innovation in such a company? And I think the answer is that you turn everything into a process. Even innovation is a process in such a huge company. I don't know how they do it exactly. I know that I would probably be pretty bad at being the CEO of Microsoft. I know how to run Ludosity, but that's about it. I care deeply about all the team members. I know their strengths, their weaknesses, their fears, their wishes. So that's what I'm working with. I also don't think that the world's most attractive workplace can be a place where there are 100,000 people. I think you pretty much have to know each other. So the upper limit might be something like 20 or something. So is Ludosity the most attractive workplace in the world? Not even close. For one, we are struggling financially, which actually affects this to some degree. Mostly it can give a sense of instability. So that would not be the world's most attractive workplace. But we have always found a way through crisis, and I credit that a lot to the loyalty within the team that we keep on keeping on, even though it's hard. So I was going to talk a little bit about our internal processes. So we are really good at finding that bang for the buck when we make a game. I talked a little bit earlier about following a design to the letter, and that's sort of the opposite of what we do. So when we run into a problem, we just sort of take a step back and see what's the quickest way that we can get to like 80% of this. And that's something that I value a lot. So I encourage that, and I think that's one of the reasons that we can make so many games so fast. I want to talk about brainstorm meetings. Don't have them at all, ever. They suck. Brainstorm meetings, if you put people in a room and you say, 2 o'clock, we're gonna come up with some great ideas. I've never seen that work, ever. So what we do at Ludosity is that sometimes we have the opportunity to have some time to make a new prototype, and we decide on which prototype to make by allowing everyone to take time whenever they want to write down some ideas and then present them. So give them a week or so to find this time, and allow them to take time from work to do that whenever they feel like it. So that's my take on brainstorm meetings, though. We had some really horrible ones in the beginning. Of course, we try to never crunch. We work in our own pace, and it's done when it's done. This is sometimes you do have to crunch, but I'm not a fan. There are actually, it's kind of interesting because there are research going back over 100 years that says that crunch is not effective after less than 2 weeks. We have known this in the car industry for over 100 years, but we still crunch in the game industry. Ford went down from 10 hours to 8 hours work days in the 1930s, and production went up. I want to try to give everyone time to try new things. I mentioned I mentioned that we made an NES game. We also went to the Retro Games Fair in Gothenburg one year. I think we had 5 games there on the Atari, on this C64, on the NES that we had taken some weeks before to make. Super stupid, but it was really, really fun. And we learned a lot of stuff. We have sort of the Google Friday. We call it the Fuck Around Friday. You can do whatever you want the last 4 hours of every Friday. No strings attached. We're pretty bad at some stuff as well. We suck at marketing a lot. We find it really difficult to meet people like I'm doing right now. We were just on a stream over at Stonlock. That was fun, but I had to really, pull someone to get there. So we're not all good. Just this feels like bragging, and I hate bragging. So we're good at some things. We're good at making a lot of games, having fun doing it. Not so good at selling them. We should probably be better at that, so we can have more money and swim around in ball pits. That's it. If you have any questions, raise your hands. Otherwise, I think we're pressed for time, so we could wrap it up.
We could probably do 1 or 2 questions.
I'll take your applause. Yes. But if you do have any questions, let me know. Yes.
Do you want me to stand up, or here is fine? You say you don't crunch, and it's done when it's done. Do you work to deadlines at all, or is that just something I'm reading into?
Okay, that was badly put, because we do deliver on time. It's just that we cut features. So I think that's a lot better, and we're pretty good at cutting, because it doesn't matter how much you cut, because the player won't know what we cut, so it's still going to be good. No one notices. It's a bit harder when you have a publisher, and you have milestones, and you have a contract, but there are ways around that as well.
One more.